Hello, everyone. My name is Waleed, and I want to welcome you to my channel. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of your time to spend some time with me. I hope that you will like this video. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Uh, um, I am the owner of a couple of properties in the Caribbean. I own a couple of homes in St. Lucia, and I own a home in Jamaica. And I hope that maybe someday you will consider staying at one of my properties if you are interested in traveling to St. Lucia or Jamaica. And I am interested in doing content that is related to Jamaica or St. Lucia. And today I am going to review a video about St. Lucia. And I'm going to react to this video. So I hope that you like this video, and let's take a look at this video together.
This country has the world's only drive-in volcano. Hello, welcome to Open Tierra. Today we're exploring St. Lucia, a stunning Caribbean island known for its natural beauty and vibrant culture. Nestled in the Eastern Caribbean, St. Lucia boasts lush rainforests, majestic mountains, and pristine beaches that attract visitors from around the globe. Stay with us until the end to uncover more fascinating facts and experiences that make St. Lucia a true Caribbean gem. St. Lucia is a sovereign island country in the West Indies in the Eastern Caribbean Sea. The island is located north of the islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, northwest of Barbados, and south of Martinique. The geography of St. Lucia is volcanic in origin and mountainous.
One of the things that I can say about St. Lucia that is very beneficial to me is it is located in the Eastern Caribbean, and as was just mentioned in the video, there are a lot of islands in the East Caribbean that are so close to each other. There's Barbados, and there's Martinique, there's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there's Grenada, Trinidad. It's very close. So me as the owner of a villa for vacationers and travelers, I do get a lot of traffic from these nearby islands visiting St. Lucia. You know, a lot of them end up at my place. I get a lot of visitors at my place from Barbados and Martinique, Trinidad. They're all within striking distance of each other, and they frequently visit each other. So I benefit from that.
With dense forests. The highest point is Mount Gimli at 950 meters above sea level. Two volcanic spires called the Pitons rise dramatically from the sea on the western coast near the town of Soufriere. St. Lucia has a tropical climate moderated by northeast trade winds. There is a dry season from January to April and a rainy season from May to August when hurricanes are a threat. The island's natural harbor is at Castries on the northwestern coast. Other major towns include Gros Islet, Vieux-Fort, and Soufriere. The eastern coast has long sandy beaches, while the western coast has more sheltered coves. The World Bank estimates that
one of the things that I can say about the location of St. Lucia and a lot of the Caribbean countries in the Eastern Caribbean is that the location is really beneficial, because although St. Lucia does face the threat of hurricanes, it is never, it's very rare that St. Lucia is ever directly hit with by a hurricane. Most of the hurricanes that form uh, take a path that um, St. Lucia just isn't there. You know, St. Lucia isn't in the path that most of the hurricanes take. So it's very rare that St. Lucia gets hit directly with hurricanes. So that's very fortunate for St. Lucia.
That around 179,000 people reside in St. Lucia. Its population is predominantly of African descent, estimated to be around 85% of the population. They descended from slaves brought to work on European plantations during colonial times. There are also minority groups of mixed African-European ancestry, as well as small numbers of Indians, Syrians, and Lebanese. The official language is English, a remnant of British colonial rule. However, most St. Lucians also speak a French-based Creole language called patois. Standard French is also fairly widely spoken as a second language due to the island's history of competing British and French claims. About 70% of St. Lucians are Roman Catholics, reflecting the legacy of French influence. Another 20% belong to Protestant denominations, including Anglican, Methodist, Baptist, and Seventh-day Adventist churches. Smaller groups follow other faiths, such as Rastafarianism, Hinduism, and Islam. The island nation of St. Lucia.
One of the things that I can say about the population, as was mentioned in this video, a majority of the population is black, and a majority of the population being black, they would be descendants of slaves, and I think that is the case with almost every Caribbean island. You know, the black population would be descendants of slaves who came from various parts of Africa. So that's one of the common threads throughout the entire Caribbean.
Has a unique and mouth-watering cuisine influenced by its history and multicultural heritage. A hearty pork and chicken soup, bouillon, is the national dish of St. Lucia. This flavorful broth contains meat or fish, tubers like yam and potato, vegetables like chocho and spinach, and dumplings, slow-cooked and infused with local herbs and spices. It's the ultimate comfort food. Lambi is conch marinated in lime, garlic, and green peppers, and then cooked in its shell. This seafood specialty has a chewy texture and savory lemon zest flavor. It's a Creole dish reflecting St. Lucia's fishing culture and French influences. These crispy, fritter-like snacks are made from salted codfish, flour, and herbs, shaped into balls or patties and fried until golden brown. Accra make a tasty appetizer. The dish has roots in West African and Caribbean cooking. Fry bakes are St. Lucia's version of fried dough bread. Flour, baking powder, salt and shortening are combined to form dense, chewy bakes that puff up when fried. These carb-loaded treats are perfect for breakfast or snacking any time. The island of St. Lucia was
One of the things that I can say about the food in St. Lucia is I haven't had a really great experience with the food in St. Lucia. I can't really say much about the food. These dishes that were just highlighted in this video, I've had fried bakes, but I don't think that St. Lucia does a really good job with getting its food out there in the forefront. I couldn't tell you what the national dish was. When I've gone to restaurants, I haven't really seen any restaurants that really uh, cater to the St. Lucian cuisine. I've seen plenty of restaurants that were Italian restaurants, French restaurants. I've seen Indian restaurants. I've seen Chinese restaurants, but I haven't seen. I've seen. I know of a restaurant in the Rodney Bay area that was a Jamaican restaurant, but I haven't seen any restaurant that really pushes the St. Lucian cuisine. Um, it, you know, it's kind of unlike Jamaica, for example, where their food is such a big part of their culture. Even people who I know who have never ever been to Jamaica, they've had Jamaican food, and they've had the oxtail, and they had the curry goat, and they've had, their food is such a part of their identity. But St. Lucia is just not that way. So yeah, I haven't had a good experience with the food in St. Lucia, unfortunately. And I would like to explore that more and learn more about the local cuisine that St. Lucia offers.
Was originally inhabited by Arawak and Carib Native American groups. The first European sighting was by the Spanish in 1502. In the early 1600s, the French made the first European settlement attempts, battling the Caribs. St. Lucia changed hands frequently between the French and British in the 17th and 18th centuries. The British gained final control in 1814 after the Napoleonic Wars. St. Lucia was an important sugar-producing colony during this time, relying heavily on African slave labor on plantations. Slavery was abolished in 1834. Afterward, St. Lucia's economy declined as sugar markets crashed. The island experimented with various crops before turning to banana production in the late 19th century. St. Lucia became an associated state of the West Indies Federation in 1958. The federation collapsed in 1962, and St. Lucia became a self-governing state. Full independence was achieved in 1979, with St. Lucia becoming a Commonwealth member. Politically, St. Lucia has been relatively stable. The United Workers' Party and the St. Lucia Labour Party have predominantly held power since independence. Tourism, manufacturing and offshore banking are now important parts of the economy alongside banana exports. St. Lucia.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, the history of St. Lucia when it comes to slavery and the struggles since slavery and it was abolished is very similar throughout, the Caribbean. I don't care what Caribbean country you might mention, whether we're talking about the Bahamas or Barbados or Jamaica. They all have a history that entails slavery, and uh, uh, a lot of these countries are still affected and influenced by those countries that had control over them. And yeah, it's a very common thing throughout the entire Caribbean. So yeah.
Has transitioned from an agrarian economy based on banana production to a more diversified, service-based economy. The country has a relatively high GDP per capita compared to other Caribbean nations. The World Bank estimates that its GDP is around $2.3 billion as of 2023. Historically, banana production was a major part of St. Lucia's economy and a dominant export crop. However, banana revenues declined in the 1990s due to reduced European Union trade preferences and competition. Today, bananas account for a small fraction of exports. Many former banana farms have been converted to tourism facilities. Tourism is now the main economic driver, accounting for over 60% of GDP. St. Lucia attracts roughly 350,000 visitors annually, drawn by its natural beauty and luxury resorts. Major tourist sites include the Pitons, drive-in volcano, botanical gardens, and historic French colonial architecture. St. Lucia has a small manufacturing sector focused on food processing, beverages, cement, furniture, and electronics assembly. The services sector accounts for over 60% of the workforce. Major service activities include banking and financial services, especially offshore banking, and incorporation of foreign entities. St. Lucia has benefited from foreign direct investment in its tourism industry. The country also has preferential access to EU and US markets for certain goods under trade agreements. Main export partners are the US, UK, and CARICOM nations. Imports come mostly from the US and Brazil. The island nation of
One of the things that I can say about the St. Lucian economy is that the economy is pretty good in St. Lucia, and one of the barometers that I use on a personal note to gauge how good the economy is in St. Lucia is comparing the St. Lucian currency to the American currency. When you compare the currency in St. Lucia is the EC dollar, and when you can compare the EC dollar to the US dollar, it stands up pretty good. One US dollar is equal to $2.70 in EC dollars. So when I think about other countries, for example, Jamaica, their economy is not as good as the economy in St. Lucia, because one US dollar is equal to, I think it's 155 Jamaican dollars. So the Jamaican dollar is much weaker than the St. Lucian dollar. And one aspect of the economy that I know for a personal, just on a personal, from a personal standpoint, is it is true, as was mentioned in the video, that a lot of goods are imported in St. Lucia. So one of the areas I know for grocery shopping to me, groceries in St. Lucia seem to be the most expensive of all the Caribbean countries that I've been to. And, whether it's Barbados or Jamaica or St. Vincent and the Grenadines or the Bahamas, the groceries in St. Lucia seem to be really high. One of the things that I saw in this video was the Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And Haagen-Dazs, even in the U.S., wherever you buy Haagen-Dazs, it is an expensive brand of ice cream, but it seems to be even more expensive in St. Lucia. So, the fact that everything is imported, they have to pass the cost of importing all these goods on to the public, and I noticed it definitely costs more to buy groceries in St. Lucia.
St. Lucia has a vibrant and diverse culture, influenced by its blend of African, French, and British heritage. St. Lucians love
I hope that you will like and subscribe to this video. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I do own a home in St. Lucia. So if you're ever considering traveling to St. Lucia, I hope you will reach out and contact me and consider staying at my place. Thank you.
Any excuse to celebrate, and the island has many lively annual festivals and events. Now we'll highlight some of the top festivals in St. Lucia's. Held every October 28th, this lively festival celebrates St. Lucia's French-based Creole heritage. The event features Creole food, music, dance performances, and traditions. Locals dress up in the colorful madras costumes of their African ancestors. There are also speeches and celebrations promoting the Creole language. Established in 1992, this major international jazz festival takes place every May. Local and foreign musicians.
One thing that I can say for sure is that this jazz festival brings a lot of people to my property. The jazz festival is very popular, and for about a week or so in the month of May, my place is very busy as a result of this jazz festival. And my place is located in a really nice area. The area of St. Lucia that my place is located is called Bonne Terre. And Bonne Terre is close to where a lot of these jazz festivities is happening. My place is located very close to Rodney Bay, where there's shopping and there's malls and restaurants. It's close to Grocery Lane, where they have the Friday night street parties. But this festival, the jazz festival, does bring a lot of people to my place from all over the Caribbean. You know, people come from Martinique, they come from Trinidad, they come from Barbados, and they come to partake in the festivities of the jazz festival. Carnival is another big annual event that brings a lot of people to my place from all over the Caribbean and from all over the world, from the US and Canada and Europe. People come to my place, and if they're lucky enough to book well enough in advance to get a spot at my place, they stay at my place and they love it.
Perform jazz, R&B, calypso, and reggae at venues across the island. The event also encompasses art exhibitions, craft markets, and Creole food fairs. St. Lucia's Carnival kickstarts in May and culminates on the Monday and Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. Inspired by Trinidad's Carnival, this two-day street party features exuberant parades, steel pan music competitions, calypso shows, and a vibrant Jouvert morning celebration. These festivals offer visitors a taste of St. Lucia's incredible culture. The celebrations showcase the island's French, African, Caribbean, and colonial influences through food, music, dance, and heritage. If you enjoyed this video on St. Lucia, you'll love this next one.
I want to thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I want to thank you once again for taking a little bit of your time to spend time with me. I hope that you will like, I hope you will subscribe, and I hope you will watch more videos on my channel. Thank you so much.